Hello everyone, this is Maureen and welcome to My Crochet Story, where I share with you two things that I love, teaching and crochet. First, let me say thank you to all of my subscribers who are stopping by to see the content for today. I want you to know how much I greatly appreciate your support. Now, if you are new to my channel and you're just stopping in to see what this pretty little hat is all about, I hope that you will consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that notification button so that you do not miss any content that I may put up. Today is another of our Moving On Up series in which I release to you one of my very own designs. And this is called the Red Line Beanie. Now it's called the Red Line Beanie because you can see these beautiful little lines that I have running through the top section and the bottom section of the beanie. Now, I call it red line obviously because it's red, but you can make this beanie in any color that you want. Maybe top it off with a little bit of variegated here, make it all one color. Once you get the hang of how this beanie is put together, you can create it to be whatever color you want. So, let's grab us some acrylic yarn. Now this is used with 4-weight acrylic for both the red and the white. You can use any acrylic yarn that you like so long as it is a 4-weight. I will be using a Susan Bates eye, but so long as you have an eye hook or a 5.5, you'll be able to make this beanie with the same dimensions that I have. So as always, you're going to see a little intermission picture pop up here while we gather our materials so that we can get started on the Red Line Beanie. See you in just a moment. Alright, so I have my red yarn here for the Red Line Beanie. I'm going to be using Walmart's Mainstay. Now, I really do like this yarn. It is a little softer just in feel right off the bat than Red Heart Super Saver. Now, if you like Red Heart Super Saver, you know that it may be a little stiff to work with, but once you start washing it, it just softens up like crazy. But I did get a good deal on this. I think at the time that I bought it, it was probably around $7, but that's been a few months ago. I don't know what it is now because I bought several of these whenever I saw the price. This has 798 yards or 730 meters. This is a 14-ounce ball. So for the price that I paid for it, I thought it was really, really good. I also noticed that it is a 4-weight. And the recommended needle for it is a 5.5 or an eye, which is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a Susan Bates needle because I'm a Susan Bates girl. I love the inline hook here. Like I said, I'm a Susan Bates girl mainly because that's what I grew up using. Alright, so to get started, we're going to start with the crown. This is a top-down beanie. I'm going to pull me out some yarn here. And so I'm going to start with chaining 4, slip stitching into the first chain to get my ring started before I start adding in my double crochets. And I will be using the double crochet as my crown stitch until I get my crown out for as wide across as I want it, or the diameter. So I'm going to attach my yarn by looping my yarn over my first 2 fingers. I like to cross it in the back. Gives me 2 nice parallel lines in the front. I'm going to take my hook, go over, catch that last one, twist, and then pull it tight. Now this is called the tail and this is called our lead string. So as I said, we're going to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to slip stitch back into this very first stitch. Remember, a slip stitch, you just go in, pull through and pull through again. Now I'm going to use my hook here to kind of open up my ring just a little bit so that I can get started. Now notice I said ring. If you are more comfortable using the magic ring method, that's fine too. You just make your magic ring and then you can go ahead and get started with putting in your double crochets. So at this point I'm going to chain one to give my row or round a lift, and I'm going to start with my first double crochet. Remember, a double crochet, you're going to loop over the hook. We're going to go into the center of the ring, grab some yarn, pull up a third loop. I had 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That makes my first double crochet, and I want to have 12, so I'm going to put 11 more in. Going back into the center. That makes my second double crochet, my third double crochet, and I'm just going to continue all the way around until I have 12 double crochets. And I'm just going to stay right here with you. I'm going to have to straighten out my yarn here just a little bit. Got myself hopefully not a knot. Yeah, it looks like I got a knot going. That's what I get for pulling out too much. Well, let's get it going here. Now I do have to tell y'all that Lacey, my hound dog, is milling around, so I may have to stop from time to time to pacify her. And you may every once in a while see a little brown nose poke into the video here. And I lost count, so I'm going to stop here just a minute and I'm going to count, see how many double crochets I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I just need to do 2 more. And that should make 12, but I'm going to count one more time before I join the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sure is. So I'm going to join the round by slip stitching through the top of this very first double crochet, and then I'm going to chain 1 for my lift. Now if you watched my video yesterday on basic stitches of building the ring, or building, excuse me, a circle for such as a hat, you'll know that in this next round, since I started out with 12 and I want to add another round, I'm going to have to double the amount of crochets that I put into each stitch. So into each one of these double crochets that we just created, we're going to put 2 double crochets. So I'm going to go right back into where I slip stitched here, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets. There's 1, 2, into the next stitch, 3 and 4, next stitch, 5 and 6, and we're going to do that all the way around until we get back over here, and we should have 24 at the end of the round. So I will meet you back right over here when I get ready to finish in these last 2 double crochets in the last stitch of the round. Alright, I'm back to the beginning of my round. I have 1 stitch left, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets in there, and this should give me 24 before I connect back up to the first one. So here we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. So I'm going to slip stitch back into the first stitch here and chain 1 for my lift. Alright, now the pattern says that if I want to increase 1 more round, which means add another 12, which will give me 36, my next pattern for this row will be 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So that's what we're going to do. In this first stitch, I'm going to go right back into where we slip stitched, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet. Into this next stitch, I'm going to do my increase, which is 2 double crochets. Now I repeat the pattern. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and we repeat again. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. And that's how we're going to build this round. 1 double crochet in one stitch and 2 double crochets into the very next stitch. Give me some more yarn there. So that's what we're going to do all the way around, and I will meet you right back here before I get ready to do the last increase, which is 2 stitches in one. Alright, I'm back to the last 2 stitches, so I'll have 1 double crochet and then 2 in the last stitch to finish out the round. And this time I should have 36 stitches when I get ready to count. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36. Again, I will slip stitch into the top of that very first double crochet, and we'll chain 1 for our lift. Alright, I'm going to add another round. This time I'm going to add 12 more again, so 36 plus 12 will make it 48. And in order to do that, the pattern now calls for me to do 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. So over 3 stitches we're going to do 4. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 into that 3rd stitch. So here we go. 1 double crochet right back into where we slip stitch to join the round. 1 double crochet, and now 2 double crochets. Repeat the pattern. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and now 2 double crochets. One more time. Repeat pattern. 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets. And there's our pattern. So continue your pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you right back here in these last 3 stitches before we close the round. Alright, we are down to our last 3 stitches. So I'll have 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 2 in the last stitch. Now this should give us 48 stitches. But let's count just to be sure. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 47, 48. Again, we'll slip stitch in here to the top. Alright, chain 1 for our lift. Now, for this next round, I want to go from 48, add 12, which will make it 60. Excuse me. So our pattern is going to call for 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then in the 4th stitch we're going to do 2. So that means 5 stitches over 4 stitches. So again, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and 2 into the 4th stitch. So let's go ahead and put our first double crochet back into where we slip stitched. There's 1, there's 1, there's 1, and now we're ready for the increase, which calls for 2 double crochets into that stitch. Pattern again calls for 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 into the next stitch. I'll go around with you one more time. Repeat pattern is 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and now 2 double crochets. So repeat that pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you back here at the very beginning. Okay, I'm down to my last 4 stitches. So we'll do 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 into this last stitch. And that should give me 60 stitches all the way around after I slip stitch into that piece there. Okay, so to make sure I have 60, let's count. Counting my slip stitch here, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, and 60. All right. Now for this particular beanie, I am not going to increase the crown of the hat anymore. Now, if you are building this for someone with a little bit wider head, you might go 1 more round. And if you do, then that will give you 72 stitches. And so that means you would have to do 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 into the 5th stitch. But like I said, I'm just going to stop right here. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to create a round that is going to allow the crown now to start its descent or over to the side of our head. And in order to do that, we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Now that's going to kind of pull it in on itself a little bit, but that's okay because that's what we want. So here we go. 1 double crochet back into our slip stitch, and then 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way around, not doing any more increases. 1 double crochet. That's all we're going to do. So I will meet you back here at the beginning in just a moment. Alright, I'm coming back around to the end of my round, and you should notice, as I said, your beanie's starting to cup on you. Now you probably saw it more like this. I had already kind of flipped mine over. Alright, but you can see how it starts to create that nice curve that comes down off the crown of your head. So working in my last 2 double crochets here, and we're going to slip stitch back in to the top of our first double crochet. Now you notice we did not increase any at all, so we should still have 60 stitches. And if you want to at this moment, you can go ahead and count them. I'm not going to because I know I didn't do any increases. I didn't add any stitches, nor did I take any away. Now for this next round, This is what's going to start our red line that gives the beanie its name. So what we're going to do is we're going to, of course, do our chain 1 that gives us our lift, and we're going to now create a half double crochet. Now, half double crochet, we're going to go back into where we slip stitched, have 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and just pull through all 3. That's your half double crochet. And we're going to do half double crochets in each stitch all the way around. Yarn over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through. That's all we're doing. Half double crochets in each stitch all the way around. We will not be adding any stitches to cause an increase, nor will we be decreasing to take away any stitches. Alright, so I'll meet you back around here at the very beginning, and we will still have 60 stitches. Alright, I'm coming up into the last few stitches of the round. Finishing out my half double crochets here. And again, I'm going to slip stitch right into that very first stitch. As you can see, you're starting to get a little bit more definition here in your beanie. See that nice little slope down now? Can you tell it? Good. Alright, now for this next round, this is what's going to create what's the line on the beanie. So we're going to chain 1 to get our lift. Now when you make a half double crochet, there is an extra loop or twist that is not completed out whenever we do the double crochet. And what I mean by that is when we do a double crochet and we're yarning over and going through, we have those 3 loops. Well, we take care of those loops, and it's pretty flat. Alright? But in a half double crochet, we have an extra loop that gets hidden. So whenever I do a half double crochet, 3 loops, this middle loop here gets hidden or pushed to the back. So if you'll take your beanie here, just a section of it, you've got your V stitch up here on the top that we do for all our stitches, but if you roll it over just a little bit, you'll find that there's a 3rd little bump here. Or if you lay it down, you'll notice that you've got an extra set of V's on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to work into this little back loop here of our half double crochets, and what that's going to do is it's going to push this V forward. So I'll show you what I mean here. So we'll start with a half double crochet, work it just like usual, and then when I get ready to make the next half double crochet, I'm going to go into this back loop here behind my V. Alright, so I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to turn the edge of my row here, and I'm going to go right there into that 3rd loop and work a half double crochet like always. Do it again. Turn the edge of my work, go into this 3rd loop back here. See what's happening? You can already see it. It's pushing the V's here towards the side of your hat. Half double crochet, going behind the V here to find that 3rd loop and pushing it forward. Can you see the little ridge here that it's making? Those V's are now laying on the side of your hat and not under the stitch. Let's do a few more. Go to that 3rd loop under your V to make that what we call 3rd loop half double crochet. Should start seeing it pretty good there now. And I want you to do that all the way around and I'll meet you back up here in this last stitch. Alright, I'm coming to the end of my round here, just finishing up with my last two third loop half double crochets, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch right here into the beginning stitch. Now, as you can see, it gave us this nice little ridge here. See the little red line? Hope I'm showing that to you good. See our little red line here? Alright, we are going to continue doing this third loop half double crochet until we have a total of 5 rounds. Alright, so we just did one. We need to do 4 more rounds of the exact same thing. So you're always going to start off with your chain 1 for your lift, and then your regular half double crochet into the stitch, and then we'll start into the very next stitch with working into that third loop back there to make our stitch push itself forward. Now what you're going to find in these rounds, see how this is already starting to push it up? See what it's doing? That's what we want. I want 5 lines of these as we're going down. And then we're going to put in another stitch to kind of break it up just a little bit, and then we'll be back to doing this again. So I will meet you at the end of your 5th row of doing the third loop half double crochet. Alright, so we'll just continue. I'll work with you just a little bit more here, doing the half double in that back loop or third loop of the double crochet, half double crochet. Okay, so I tell you what, I'll meet you back around over here so I can show you how to connect and to start again. Alright, I'm here to the last 2 stitches. I'm going to finish off the round working there in the back loop, and then I'm going to join into that first half double crochet stitch with a slip stitch. Then we're going to go again. So now do you see the 2 little lines here? And then by the time we get finished, we'll have 5 of them up there. Okay? Alright, so again, we've made our lift with the chain 1. Go back into that first stitch with just your normal half double crochet, and then starting again, you'll go into that back loop of your half double crochet and continue around. Just like we've done for the last 2 rounds. Okay, and again, it's just going to naturally force these V's of your half double crochet from the previous round. It's just going to naturally force them to come up there to the side of your hat. Alright, so now we are starting on the 3rd round. I want you to make 5, so I will meet you at the end of the 5th round to show you what we're going to do next. I am at the end of my 5th round of working in the 3rd loop of my half double crochet. So I'm going to attach my row there, and at this point I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to tie off. Okay, so in looking at our beanie so far, we have this nice half double crochet crown, and then we're coming off and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nice little red line rounds. Now what we're going to do here is, and this is optional for you, you don't have to do it. I am going to come in now and I'm going to change colors. So that's why I tied off here by doing a chain 1. And I am going to do a very small swatch of a different design, and I want it to kind of pop a little bit. That's separating it from these red lines here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to attach some white yarn. Now again, you don't have to do this. You can just keep on going once I get my yarn attached, or you can come in and put in a different color. Now, what's nice about this beanie is that you can make any color combinations that you want. It doesn't have to be a red line beanie. You can go to blue line or an orange line, just depending on what color you use. But I like the red line beanie. That's why I called it that. So I'm going to come in here in just a moment and I'm going to attach some white yarn. So give me just a second. Get my white yarn over here. Let's see. Had that attached to something else and I'm just going to go ahead and cut that off. Move my red out of the way here. We'll come back to that again in just a moment. All right, so I'm going to attach my white yarn to my hook, just like we did in the beginning. And then I'm going to take my white yarn and I'm going to put it right back into this stitch that we slip stitched into earlier. Here we go. Tied it on, ready to go. And I'm going to chain 1. Now what we are going to do in this row is, notice that we have all these posts from our half double crochet that we used just a moment ago to make that 5th red line row. Well, we're going to use the post of these half double crochets to make a post every 3rd stitch to give it a little bit of definition. So what we're going to do is, remember, we've already learned how to do a front post double crochet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, in these very first 2 stitches, just do a double crochet. I'm going to come back in here. Now I'm going to hold my red and my white tails for a few stitches here to get them woven in here as I go. So here we go. We're going to do another double crochet. Now remember that a post double crochet is, we're going to go around this post here, and since I want it to go to be a front post double crochet, I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to go underneath the post here so that it pushes it forward. All right, I want to go through the post, which means I'm going to pick up both of those strands, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and do my double crochet. All right, now in the next 2 stitches we're just going to do a regular double crochet. Around the next post of this half double crochet, we're going to do a front post double crochet. So here we go. There's the post. Go behind it to push both of those loops forward and finish out the double crochet. Then double crochet into the next 2 stitches. And I'm just going to go ahead and drop these tails now. I'll clip them whenever I get finished with my hat. Around the next post, we're going to do our front post double crochet, 2 more double crochets, next one, front post double crochet, 2 double crochets, front post. Remember, you want to go under the post, grab your yarn, pull it through, and finish out your double crochet. And we're going to continue this all the way around. A double, and a front post. Double, and a front post. And I will meet you back around here at the very beginning in just a moment. I'm here to my last 3 stitches, so I'm going to do double crochet, get some more thread, and around this last post we'll make our last front post double crochet and join right in at the top. Chain 1. So that's what our hat is looking like so far. The crown coming down to our red lines, and now we're going to be making a few rows of double crochets with a front post every third. So I'm going to start again. We've got our chain 1 lift. I'm going to do a double crochet, and around the post of the post that we did earlier, we're going to make another post. Yarn's getting stuck on my fingers. Again, double crochet, and post around the previous post. And eventually you're going to see just a little bit of texture happening here. So again, double crochet, and post around the previous post. Double crochet, okay, just a minute, I messed up somewhere here and I don't know if it's in the previous row. No. Post, 1, 2, post. I think I messed up right there. Alrighty. Yeah, 1, 2, there's my post. Alright, now I should be doing double crochet, and then there's my post. Now you'll be able to see where your post should be falling because you can see where that post grabbed the post here all the way around. Okay, so there's a post. Get some more yarn. So here we're back to double crochet, and the post around the post from the previous round. Double crochet, then there's our post. So I want you to complete that all the way around, and I will meet you at the very beginning of this round. Remember, double crochet, and post. Alright, so I am coming up here on the last little bit, so I have a double crochet, and a post, and then I have a double crochet, double crochet, and then my last post for the round. Then we're going to slip stitch right up into here to our first double crochet. Now that's what we have so far. Again, we have our crown, we have our 5 red lines, and now we have something that gives us a little bit of a break in the color number 1, and it also gives us just a little bit of different type of texture coming off of the double crochets, and then these nice third loop half double crochets that give us this nice little red line ridging. And then we're going in for something a little bit different, which is just front post and double crochets. Now we're going to do this particular row with the double crochets and the post for 3 more rounds, giving us 4 rows of double crochets with the post. So we're going to chain up, go right back into that stitch, and again the same pattern, double crochet, double crochet, and your posts will always line up on top of each other. So there's our post from the previous row, and we're putting another post on top of it. Double crochet, double crochet, and post, front post, double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, and remember the front post, we want to push that post forward, so we're going to go under it and finish out our double crochet. So I will meet you after you complete 3 more rounds, this round and 2 more. So I'll meet you back right here at the end of 4 of these double crochet and front post double crochets pattern. Alright, I'm coming up to the 4th, finishing the 4th and final round of these double crochets and front post. So I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this first stitch, chain 1, and then I'm going to cut my yarn and pull it up to tie it off. So I'm hoping that at this point you can see that pretty little texture there that's made. In fact, you can rub your hand over it. So at this point now, we have this nice beanie that's coming off of our double crochets here. Then we have the 5 lines, and then we have this beautiful texture going on here in the middle of the beanie. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to attach my red yarn. Let me swap these out. Going to make a slip knot onto my hook. Always seem to want to make a magic ring there whenever I'm trying to put my yarn back on my hook. Alright, so we're going to go right back in here where we tied off from our previous color. Tuck my tails back behind me. And now we are going to put in 1 row of half double crochets. So I'm going to go right back into this stitch here where we joined, pull up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook, and now we're going to go into the top of each stitch. I'm going to grab my tails here and weave them in as I go for a little bit. So on the top of this next stitch, do a half double crochet. Top of that post stitch, do a half double crochet. Next stitch, half double crochet, half double crochet, and all the way around until we get back to the beginning of the row. Okay, and I'll meet you right back here in just a moment. Alright, I'm coming up to the end of this next row with double crochets, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first stitch here, and we're going to do our lift stitch, and we're going to do just like we did up here. We're going to do a half double crochet back into that slip stitch. Keep catching on a piece of thread there. Oh, thread from the other stitch. There we go. There's our first one, and then again we're going to go back into this third loop here of the half double crochet to push our top V's forward so we can get that nice red line again. Alright, see how it's building just like it did here before? Alright, we're going to do the same process as we did here, except this time instead of having 5 lines or 5 rows here, we're only going to do 4. So finish out this row and do 3 more rows, and I'll meet you back after we have 4 of the red line ridges. Alright, I'm coming up to the last stitch here on this round. I'm going to slip stitch right here into the top. I'm sorry, that's Lacey acting up. Alright, now for the last 2 rounds, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain up 1, and I'm just going to put 1 single crochet into each stitch from the previous round all the way around. Now that means 1 single crochet into the top of each of the half double crochets that we had from the previous round. Okay? So I'll meet you back here at the very beginning in just a few minutes. Alright, I'm coming back around. I've just got a couple of stitches here, and I'm going to slip stitch into the beginning stitch here. Now, if you wanted to, you could stop right here and your beanie would be finished. But I'm going to put 1 more stitch here down at the bottom. I'm going to put in the crab stitch. Now the crab stitch is just like working a single crochet, except we're going to be going backwards, because crabs, you know, most of them either walk sideways or backwards. So in order to do the crab stitch, you're going to chain up 1 just like before, and as I said, you're going to work a single crochet, but you're going to be working it in each of the single crochets behind. So we're going to go right back in to this first stitch behind, loop over, pull up a stitch. Then we're going to go into the next stitch, go under both of the loops, pull it up, and pull through. Again, it's just like working a single crochet. You're going to notice that it's a little loose here, like it's standing up and it doesn't have anything to connect to. But once you go into that next stitch behind it, pull up, gives it a nice little I don't know, you can call it like maybe a false picot, or it just gives it a nice little rolling edge there, I think. Like I said, it's just working a single crochet, but going into the stitch behind, not forward. Going backwards, not forward. Takes a little bit to get used to. Like I said, if it's not a stitch that you're interested in, you could just tie off once you got finished with your row of single crochets. But I love the crab stitch, when I don't have a regular brim, or I'm working on the top down of a beanie and I'm not going to add a ridge. See that nice little edging that it gives there? I just really like that. So, if you're doing the crab stitch with me, continue, and I'll meet you back around when we get to this back piece here, and I'll show you how I tie it off. Alright, I'm coming up to the last couple of stitches here. This is my last stitch. Now, to tie these together, what I do is I go ahead and clip my yarn, and I will do a chain and pull this through. Then I take my tapestry needle, just go ahead and pull that tight there. And since I want to hide this tail anyway, I will just come right into that loop and tie it in. And then I'll come in underneath here and I will find the loops that I wish to use and start hiding my tail. Alright. Okay, that's which one is getting pulled here. There it is. And then again, as I've done before, come up here, I'll catch a little bit of a loop there. And I'm just going to weave back and forth in between these loops. Again, I'm not going all the way through to the other side. Just wanting to catch some loops, which I can hide my tail here. And then I'm going to go back one more time. So I'm going to skip over here to this line and just kind of weave in and out between the loops, so I can get it hidden without going through the other side. Okay. All right. There's your beanie. Now again, down here at the bottom, if you don't like that little edging or you don't like using the crab stitch, you don't have to use it. But I think it turned out to be a very nice looking beanie. I love this part in here, especially not only just the color change, but the texture that the post makes for you just every once in a while. I love too how the double crochets stand out on their own. They're not anything fancy, but they do have a nice look there. Then we come down to the red line. Again, like I said, the standing post, front post, and then to finish it off. Now, if you would like a written copy of this pattern, I would be more than happy to email it to you. The only requirement is that you be a subscriber to my channel. That way you'll get a free copy of this red line beanie. I hope that you've enjoyed our little time together here creating this little hat. Again, as always, be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know, could be your light that they need to see. Thank you again for joining me. Bye.